DSPN, the Devlin Sports Podcast Network.
Tony, let's cover some other teams. Penrith beating Parramatta. Not perfect, far from it. It's been the case with Penrith all
Who
year.
would have picked that?
I know.
Battle of the West.
Yeah, but apart from that Brisbane win at Magic Round, there's not really been a game where anything's looked easy or comfortable for the Panthers. Even round one against Cronulla, while they were the better side, far from perfect. But all that matters really at this stage for this team, as we've just covered, get the 2 points, and then you can start to go on a bit of a run at the end of the year in terms of your form and looking better. And this is a team that you've also said during the Origin period can actually feed off of their key players going off, coming back and lifting the standard. Are you glass half full about this team potentially making a run for the 8 more so now than, say, 7 days ago? Because I think Parramatta can be a tricky side to beat.
I did say to Marty that they only have to get a couple of wins through the Origin period, and they'll kick. They've gone from being the team to beat to the dark horses that are going to ruin your year. You know what I mean? Because if you're going to face Penrith, they're the team that you don't want to play. And if you look at the team, that's why the Warriors need the daylight. Because if you look at the teams below the 4, all right, and Penrith beat them, all right, any of those teams, they can knock them out of the 8. So you don't want to be at the position right at the back end of the year, and thankfully the Warriors aren't, that are playing Penrith, because I reckon Penrith are going to go on a run.
Tony, I want to talk about the Broncos, obviously very close to my heart. I love this team. I've been a big fan for, 17 years now, I think it is. What the hell is going wrong? Because this is a club full of great players. We talked a little bit about Luke Metcalf there and structure and how players adapt to, I guess, firmer coaching instructions. And I wonder, because Brisbane are a team of talented players, is there more of a reliance on instinct as opposed to coaching with these guys? But long-winded way of saying, what is going on with this team?
I think it's a little bit more than that. I actually think there's a hell of a lot of other aspects of the Broncos as an organisation that's affecting the on-field performance, whether it's the coaching, whether it's the management and the executive, and you throw the players in there, they somehow haven't got the mix right, and the players are going out there and you're getting what you're getting on a Friday night or Saturday or Sunday that just looks so un-Broncos-like with a team playing like that, And watch Payne Haas on the weekend come out of Wednesday, he's got player of the match, hadn't trained for 10 days, won the man of the match, come in and he's run down players on the try line and making breaks halfway up the field with no one around him. You know what I mean? So you can't have a team of individuals trying to win you a competition. Again, team of champions, aren't they? But they just can't seem to win.
Was it a coaching thing? Because last year it was apparently a coaching thing.
I do know how it works. All right. The executive CEO will blame the coach because he's the first guy that he's got to go. All right, because it saves the CEO's ass. And then the next guy to go is the CEO. All right, so there's a picture of those two talking this week. All right, I can guarantee you they say it's the safest job in the world, Madge, but he'd be the first one punted. All right, the players are all safe because they're mercenaries. They don't really care. And then the CEO, if he doesn't get the next time, then they'll sack the CEO. 4 coaches in 7 years, I think they've gone through. And Madge Maguire is under the pump. There's no other way to say it. Whether or not he's lost the shed, I don't think he even got the shed. Well, I think there's more to it, and the Broncos are doing a real good job of keeping a lot of stuff under the rug. Yeah,
they just don't look like they really care. Like, one thing about the Warriors that I noticed against Souths, support play was great. Whenever they're throwing the ball around, there's someone there running with the guy with the ball who's there to offer some support. It's the exact opposite for the Broncos. You're right, they're playing for themselves, it seems. But maybe this is a bit extreme, and this is obviously why
would you put Jesse Arthars at fullback and not Selwyn Cobbo? Like, from a coaching perspective...
He's never played fullback for Brisbane, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, he's not a fullback. Yeah. No, he's not a fullback when you've got Selwyn Cobbo in your team. No. Like, come on, seriously. And it's just like little... They're like little hand grenades that are being thrown into the mix all the time. Like, people that are looking at it going, mate, Selwyn Cobbo, when he played fullback, he's going all right, Like, he goes...
first game of fullback was against the Dogs.
Good. But then Selwyn Cobbo hasn't signed. All right, and then you've got, that's what I mean, like there's all this other stuff going on. So you probably got a bit of management issue going on the back with the player manager, and the players saying, well, mate, we don't care. Like, we'll just leave you out on the wing, and if you don't want to sign, we're going to throw you back in second grade, because that's what clubs do.
Right. Does he have enough control over the situation, do you think, as a coach? Because Madge is a bit old school. There's a military-like way to how he operates.
No, the simple answer to that is no.
Right.
Wayne Bennett couldn't.
So you reckon, so if you put Wayne Bennett or Craig Bellamy up at Brisbane with that roster, do you think they'd both struggle as well?
No, not at all.
Okay.
Because I don't think Bellyache or Wayne Bennett would go there with the problems that are happening off the football field. I think they'd only go there if it was sorted.
So how do you... it feels like, it's a bit of a morbid way to put it because we talk about sport. It's not that important at the end of the day. But it feels like there's a serious cancer at the club.
Well, what I'm saying is,
I wonder if
I think it will eventually come out. I can't put my finger on it, but I think it will eventually come out that there's a lot of other things happening, and it's obviously to do with the old coaching, the old boys, the way that they're running things off the football field, and the players have bought into it, so they're really, really confused and not listening to the coach, and unfortunately the coach can't clean it all up.
Yeah, there's always a lot of talk about the Broncos old boys. They do tend to have quite a bit of influence over how things.
And I think
operate.
eventually that stuff will all come out. How do you sort that out? Well, I don't think Belly will go there. No, you know what I mean? I think Bellamy will head to. He's talking about retiring, and Melbourne are talking about keeping him there. I think Wayne Bennett would only go there if he ran it.
Yeah, what I mentioned, if there was a clean out of the management.
He took his own CEO, you know what I mean, and got back to the old...
There was a bit of a poisonous way that relationship ended last time when he was there, wasn't it?
Yeah, I don't think he'll ever end up back there.
Spending a bit too much time on the Broncos, which I do apologise as a Broncos
talk all
fan.
day with that.
Let's talk about the Roosters-Raiders game on Sunday. That was a cracking game, and I actually went into it thinking the Roosters have a good chance here, and I thought they actually showed a fair bit in that game to suggest they are certainly a finals team, which after round one, no one wanted to call them a finals team, did they?
No.
I mean, Brisbane put 4 teams,
put them in the
50 on them.
right before the season
and it feels like it's a bit of a transition year where older players moving on, you've got some younger players coming up, you're hoping that they obviously reach a certain level, which a lot of them have. But it's much, another win for the Raiders. They got the most in the comp. We know that they're in that top 4 conversation in the premiership bubble. But coming out of that, I'm loving a lot of what I'm seeing from the Roosters.
Yes, look, I think the Roosters they'll shock a few teams. I thought they might have got Canberra, and early on, the way they played, you were hoping that they would get home. But Canberra, like even against the Warriors, the same game in it, they just hung in there, and right in the end, they got some resilience and went on and won the football game. I think both teams have still got the best football in front of them. Which is a scary thing about Canberra. I think Canberra is set up really well. Like the Fogarty going to Manly. There's obviously a lot of things that people can see, but again, talks about the depth of halfbacks in the competition. But the speed around him is phenomenal. Weeks the way that he took off and scored that 80-metre. You've just got Tarpany.
Savage as well.
Savage is quick. Tarpany up front. You've got real muscle, a little bit like Crichton, and those boys that play in that New South Wales edges is sort of Rick he'd be quite happy not having anyone in Origin, because it just gives his team to get through the Origin period.
It's a blessing if you actually get in there,
again,
right?
build some daylight between the next teams below him. So. I don't think he'll have that luxury. I think Horsburgh will make the Queensland side. He might have a Smokey and Fogarty going into halfback because Daly Cherry Evans, at 36 might be a little bit long on the tooth. But Canberra, mate, they're I don't think it's surprising now to see where they're at.
This is the DSPN.